Hello, my beautiful star-crested sea urchin. I hope you're having a great day. You're drinking enough water. Maybe you had some chicken fingers recently. That would be great. Unless you're vegan. Tofu fingers? Who was the person that decided that they were going to normalize like shooting on and around their bed? Like, I'm doing it, but it's weird, right? Like, this is a little weird. Like, I sleep here. Well, I pretend to sleep here. If I'm being honest, I never really got the concept. Like, you're telling me I'm supposed to lay down with my eyes closed for who knows how long and try to turn off my brain so that way I can fall asleep. And then 3 hours later, I'm still awake and thinking about, for some reason, stamps. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the books that are on the shelf back here. This is my husband's. Right now I'm filming this like the week of Thanksgiving, so it's a little early to be filming, but it's probably going to get posted right on time. This is our next year's TBR, me and my husband. So I thought I'd go through some of the books. I don't know if this is in frame. Where are you? My husband made this for me when we were dating because I wrote a lot. I still write. I don't write as much as I did. I'm trying to get back into it. But isn't that so cute? It's magnetic and everything. Right now it just has all of the notes that we passed to each other when we were dating. Cute. You don't have to say it. We're adorable. This is my stack. So the way that my husband and I decided what we were going to do is I chose 10 books that I wanted to read, and he chose 10 books that he wanted to read. And then we chose 10 books for each other that we wanted the other person to read. And so this is my stack. We're just gonna go through it a little bit at a time. We'll start with this pile because it's the closest and the easiest to fall down. This is Ender's Game, my favorite book in the entire world, and I'm due for a reread. And so I added it to the list. And it's pretty well, I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm like, maybe it's not that as well loved as I like to pretend, but the spine is correct. And I know this hurts some of you, and honestly it kind of hurts me too, but I've read this book so much that the spine, there's no hope for it, and so it's like, might as well. I started reading this book. This is an Agatha Christie, and I just thought it would be fun. My husband, there's, at the bank that he used to bank at, there's a book table where you can just give whatever amount of money and get a whole bunch of books, and people donate the books, and the money goes to probably a children's hospital or something like that. And so he picked up a bunch of Agatha Christie's, and for like $20. I think he probably paid like $1 a book. So we got 20 books for $20. And one of them was this one. I don't know what it's about. It's an Agatha Christie. That's my choice. I chose that for myself. I've never read the Chronicles of Narnia, and I wanted to. And also it's like itty bitty. Kurt Vonnegut is kind of like a sci-fi war writer. I don't really know how else to describe it. I've read some of his work before and I like it. And so this is one that I thought I would read because we have a full collection. Maybe I'll do a whole house tour of all of our books and you'll see our full collection of Vonnegut's. But I love a good old Kurt Vonnegut. He's probably a little bit vulgar for my Christian taste, but also the man wrote to deal with his PTSD, in my opinion. So what can you expect? I loved the movie, and we got the book at a bookstore. There again, you can buy books for $1 for there. I guess it was $2 at this point. They inflation, really messed up. They had books for $1, and now they're $2. So sad. How am I supposed to afford a $2 book? Anyway, catch me if you can. Wanted to read it. Ayn Rand is a boss. Okay. So I wanted to read her books. What is this? Atlas Shrugged. I wanted to read this because I liked Anthem a lot when I was younger. We had to read it for school, unfortunately, but I still liked it. And so I thought, why not read something else? We have The Fountainhead out there, and Anthem as well. And it was a 3-box set. And so we got them all, and I was like, we have this, I want to read it. And also there's just something about, and we can all pretend that it's not this way. But when you've got a thick book, you got big book energy, okay? There's something about big book energy that just makes you feel a little bit superior. We can pretend it's not that way, but it is, okay? When you read a thin book, You don't feel as cool. But when you read a thick book, something about it. Anyway, we'll go right into this one. Mouse. This is one that my husband picked for me. And he didn't pick the second one, but I just put it on there because it's a comic book, basically. What do they call those? Graphic novels. It's a graphic novel about World War II and the Nazi Germany in Poland and Auschwitz and all of that stuff. And I finished the first one, and it's a lot of stuff is really jarring and sad, and it makes your tummy hurt. And honestly, it's good to be reminded of that stuff, especially in this day and age where we're like leaning towards anti-Semitism again, which I will stand against very firmly for all of time. If you hate the Jews because they're Jews, you're being racist. And that's racism. I can't remember if I picked this out or if my husband picked it out, but I never read it for school. And my mom, this was one of the books that my mom was like, you can't read that book. And so now, you know what, Mom, I'm 24 years old and I can read what I want because I'm an adult. I loved The Hobbit, never actually read the Lord of the Rings series. So the first one is on the list. I'll probably read all of them eventually. I just really wanted to read it because honestly, I feel like a fake fantasy lover when I am like, wow, fantasy is awesome, but I've never read Lord of the Rings. Who am I? This one is one my husband picked out for me, another Agatha Christie, and a nice little mystery novel. I didn't realize I enjoyed mystery until I read Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. Like, that's the best book I've read for a long time. And it made me... I lost my train of thought. I loved Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. I like mystery now. I'm reading Agatha Christie. Another husband pick. Fart Proudly. Benjamin Franklin's... is this an autobiography? Oh, the poor cover. It's seen better days. The Benjamin Franklin you never read in school. Uh-oh. I think it's just kind of like letters and personal journal entries. Could be fun. I'm not a history buff. My husband is. And so all of the books that he chose for himself pretty much are history books. And I'm like, you need to read something more fun than the horrors of war, please. This is a book my husband got me last year for Christmas that I still hadn't read, so he put it on my list for next year. And I meant to read it, I just forgot about it because it's skinny. Could be interesting. I chose this book because of the cover. It looks pretty. That's all. This is a husband pick. I've never read Of Mice and Men. I've watched the movie, so I know how it ends, but might as well read the book. And also, again, skinny. My husband chose a lot of skinny books. This is a Bible book, as you can kind of, well, I mean, if you know, you know. I'm kind of like a little bit of a word nerd when it comes to the Greek and the Hebrew stuff, and it's really interesting to look into. And this one is Studies in the I Am Declarations of Jesus Christ. That's pretty cool. I'm into that. This is just biblical doctrine. Again, another Bible book. My husband picked this one out. Just biblical doctrine. I'm apostolic, and so Acts 2:38 is pretty important to that belief system. Remember how I said my husband likes war books and likes to read about the horrors of war? He wants me to read about the horrors of war. And honestly, I want to. I want to because I want to know, but I don't want to because I don't want to know. You know? It could be good. I think this is one that's like first-hand encounters, so it's like people telling you stories about their time. Could be interesting. When you really think about it, history is so hard to comprehend sometimes because there's so much of it, because how many perspectives are there? Like, my husband and I are going to be planting a church soon, and so I'm reading this book because we're going to be planting a church soon. That's pretty much what it is. We got this book at a library book sale, and I found the set. I have Ready Player One and Ready Player Two, and I've never read them. I watched the movie. Honestly, the movie sucked. So I'm hoping the book will be better. When it first came out, this was all anybody ever talked about. When you were a reader, everyone talked about Ready Player One. And so I'm really late to the party, but I'm excited to read it. Remember how I said that I don't sleep in this bed because I can't? I thought maybe this book will fix all my problems. And I'm really banking on that. I started this book in 2022 and I got about halfway, 3/4 through it, and I never finished it. And so I thought, might as well. Like, the cover is really pretty, right? Look at the size of this bad boy. Once again, with the big book energy, I got this for my birthday, and it has a dragon on it and he is blue. And so I want to read it because he is pretty. It has like an index in it. 804 pages. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot this book. I started reading this book actually already. You can see my tabs. Some of them are sticking out too far. I'm trying to decide what my tab length I like to stick out. And I think it's a little closer than that. But anyway, I really like this book so far. Maybe I'll talk more about it later when I finish it, but that's not going to be now. So those are my 20 books that I'm going to read next year. And I know some of you sick freaks can read 20 books in 1 month, okay? But I'm raising a kid and myself. I don't necessarily have the time. So I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I set a goal of 12 books to read this year, and as of the filming date, again, the week of Thanksgiving, I think I'm at like 16 or 17. So that's pretty good. Because we're here, I thought I'd just show you the books my husband wants to read too, just real quick. Let's start over here. I don't know anything about most of these books. Western. Paul Harvey's The Rest of the Story. This is a Bible. That's not on his list. It's just a book that he reads, so it's on the shelf. I know something about this book. I picked this out for him because I want him to read The Giver, because I love The Giver. And so he's got a big book on his shelf to read The Giver. These books seem boring to me. Like, that seems so boring. He wants me to read this one eventually because it's another war book. War makes me sad. Oh my gosh. He really likes this, where is he? He really likes this author. He's written a lot of books that are just like, I don't know what the word for it is. I can't remember. But people just saying, this is what happened to me. And it's a bunch of like basically little stories in there. Wow, look, there's pictures. You know, this just reminded me of something completely random. My sister works at a library. And one time when I was visiting her, some guy just went to the copier and started copying Harry Potter. Just opened the book flat out and was copying Harry Potter page for page. And I was like, is that illegal? And she's like, yeah, it is, but we can't do anything about it. It's against policy to do anything about it. Whose decision was that? My husband, I guess this doesn't have a title on the front. Riders of the Purple Sage. My husband listened to this book, like 3 years ago, and he really liked it, so he wanted to read it. War books. Another Paul Harvey book. I don't know. This one's, oh my gosh. The Naked and the Dead. I tell you what, there's the World War II dads and there's like the grilling dads. I have a World War II dad. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. Think what you want about JP. He sounds like Kermit the Frog, but he's a smart guy. I'm making him read Anthem, one of my favorite books. He hasn't read it yet. Remembering Pearl Harbor. I remember it. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock. We got this at that same bookstore that sells books for like $1. I just thought he would have fun with some Sherlock books. He needed something a little lighter than a bunch of war. This is a book I read when I was a teenager, and he said he would read for me. Look, it's annotated and everything. Is that my writing? It's not. Who read this book and wrote in it? Oh, that's right. That's so funny. Anyway, I read this book a long time ago when we were dating. He said he would read it. And I said, hey, you haven't read that book? I'm going to put it on your shelf. And he said, oh, that's a book you say you would read to someone you like because you think they're cute. Read the book. It's not that hard. Read the book. He bought this book for himself and then never read it. And so I'm putting it on his list. These last three are actually choices that I picked out. This one I know nothing about, but it seemed his vibe. This one, again, nothing that I don't know anything about. It's something about an author and some editor and something about murders. Thought he'd like it. Book Thief. I loved this book so much. And he started reading it. He only got like 35 pages in and he's like, oh, I hate this book. Oh, it's World War II. You yuppie. Try it. Try harder. This is our little mystery book that we go through and we do puzzles sometimes at night. That's not a book we're reading. It's just on the shelf. So that's my husband's list. Now that I've thoroughly messed up his shelf, we can continue on. Oh, he wants some off the wall. Someday I will bring you out and look at all of the books that we have. I'll go through all of our shelves. Maybe not this one again. Maybe I'll just show it to you again. I'll show you all of the books that we have and it'll be a fun time. But for now, this is what we're going to read next year. Thank you for coming. I hope you had a good time. I know I did, even though for some reason I'm so anxious right now and really hungry and out of breath.